that any good?
Hello and welcome back to Lucky Hit, the video game comedy review show, and to a little section I like to call Tom Tries.
Still calling it that then, are you?
Yep. Every week I'm challenged to try and copy or mimic something from a video game to see if it can be done, or at least if it can be done by me. This week I'm going to try, can I roll like Sonic? Oh right, can I do the spin attack from Sonic? Yeah, sure I could do that.
Better go and see if he's alright. Tom! You alright?
Go away.
He's alright. That was a bit crap though, wasn't it? You should have made your legs spin, you know, like when Sonic runs and his legs go in circles. Actually, there's a couple of things you could have done better.
Yeah, okay. You can... We'll talk about it later, yeah?
Yeah.
Go away.
Get up.
The Nazis have been dabbling with the paranormal once more. Naughty boys, naughty boys. And what could be more frightening than a ghost who prescribes to a philosophy of hatred for ethnic minorities? And I don't mean a KKK guy wearing a sheet. Well, this time there's no Hitler in a robot suit. The boss is Friedrich, a resurrected German king.
You fool! You know as well as I that I cannot be destroyed.
They should have left him well alone, like every arc, spear and Ouija board they've ever used. Much was raved about this game at the time, but now on my PS2 version, the graphics are comparatively terrible to contemporary equivalents. But it's still good fun, fast play, and has pretty impressive artificial intelligence. The Nazis are generally running about shouting bad German. Nicht Sie sein, der Amerikaner! They executed my British buddy a while back, and I will kill the lot of them. What is refreshing is there is much emphasis on the regular war, some difficult missions where you have to use stealth.
Mommy, I'm telling you, I saw an American. Stop telling us.
And it is pretty scary and gets your blood up, as do those blonde hotties in leather catsuits. What a shame they're fascist assassins. When these blondies are done with me, I usually have to walk about eating 20 meals, which somehow cures bullet wounds. A quirky feature there. In the classic sub-bass, I listen for the ominous buzzing of those electric zombie creatures, not unlike that Half-Life one. Yet somehow, the most frightening are the mere mortal elite paratroopers, armed with the coolest gun in the game. Me rating, then, be a Sikh hireling 7 out of 10.
Right, it's later than we anticipated, but we're going to do the Sleeping Dogs review now, so might as well do it all officially. Look at the parts. Well, they give me a fucking medium. We're gonna do the Sleeping Dogs review.
sleepwalking through it all. Well, here we are at last, Sleeping Dogs. We've been right looking forward to this one at Lucky Hit, as the promotional build-up has been nicely done. We also had a go at the MCM Expo back in May and we liked what we saw.
Overall, it doesn't actually feel like it's a thrown together sandbox game. It actually feels like there's been some effort put in there, which is quite surprising considering it's like a reboot of an old franchise that no one really raves about.
So, Sleeping Dogs is an open-world action game that focuses around crime. Oh, typical. It was developed by United Front Games and published by Square Enix. Square Enix? Oh, typical. This project started several years ago and was unveiled as True Crime Hong Kong, but it was subsequently dropped by Activision due to its high production budget and delays. The renaming of this title, though necessary for legal reasons, is also what I consider the first step in many in salvaging and re-imaging this product from Activision's cheap GTA knockoff to a game that can stand up proudly on its own. Let's put it this way, if it was still in any way reminiscent to the True Crime games, I wouldn't have even touched this game with a large, shitty stick. Sleeping Dogs follows the story of tough, uncompromising undercover cop Wei Shen as he attempts to take down the Sun On Yee, one of Hong Kong's oldest triad organisations. His loyalties will be tested as he has personal connections within the gang.
You must be a very dangerous man, Wei Shen.
But, as well as anticipation, I've also been awaiting Sleeping Dogs with an air of caution, and that's because United Front Games made a very bold statement before this game was released. They told us this game was going to boast one of the most advanced fighting systems in an open world game yet.
Come on guys, that really is saying a lot.
Alright, let's take a look at that then. You know what, it's actually quite a solid fighting system. Although people are already likening it to things like Assassin's Creed and Batman, I find it more to be like Rockstar's Bully. The way you mix your light and heavy attacks to perform your moves. Just swap out the ability to block from Bully and replace with an impressive, if slightly too easy, counter system. And there you have it.
Time to assess your skill level in Kung Fu.
I don't want to be annoying by constantly comparing aspects of this game to other games, but unfortunately this game is a collage of things we've already seen before, many times in fact, so it's just the nature of the genre, I'm afraid. So, the fighting system works nicely. It's a mix of simplicity and a pinch of strategy that's tried and tested and has always worked. And that's a plus, seeing as this was one of the game's main selling points, the other one being the whole free running element.
Now this I like. You vault obstacles with rhythmic presses of the A button. Failure to do so will result in a clumsy climb, which will cost you valuable time if you're chasing a suspect. You also have to avoid human obstacles by swinging your analog stick left or right as you're about to collide with them. The system during missions at least works really well. It's often tense and exciting in fact.
Outside of missions though, and during free roam, I actually found the system to be quite clumsy in design, where games like Assassin's Creed and to some extent GTA 4 would allow you to seamlessly clamber over and navigate your environment. This game only let you do it while prompted, and quite often you can quite clearly see that you can make a jump or climb over something, and Wei will just refuse. Either that or he'll get stuck behind stuff, usually in the middle of a fight.
Well, the odd hiccup is unfortunately something we can expect from the open world arena, and I'm sad to say that Sleeping Dogs is one of the buggiest games I've played all year. I've had the game completely freeze up on me multiple times, I've had all the heads up displays vanish, accompanied by the pause menu being disabled, accompanied by the game completely freezing up on me. I've also managed to actually park a car up a tree.
And last but not least, I was one of the many that got the 100% completion glitch, where, to put it simply, you don't get your 100% completion. That sounds like a lot of fun, that, doesn't it? Luckily, there was a fix for this. I just redid one of the martial arts clubs and it seemed to fix my game, but it's a heart attack I could have done without.
How'd you think this was gonna go down?
Oh, I don't know. I was hoping it would work. Moving on, what else was good? Well, I like the fact this game wasn't overly gun-driven. It would be a real shame if the overall pace of this game got bogged down in your typical duck and cover shooting. Obviously, we can't completely avoid these sections, however they're fairly short and they're quite spaced out.
I'm sure you've noticed the guns are something of a rarity in Hong Kong.
However, another one of United Front's bold statements was that they were going to promise us hard-boiled gunplay, so I was expecting a Stranglehold level of slow-motion knacker shootery. The actual extent of the hard-boiled gunplay only really comes down to triggering slow motion after vaulting from cover. Still, altogether the gunplay works well, and the transition between it and the other aspects of the overall gameplay is something to be admired.
And this is where Sleeping Dogs really gets my praise. The missions are really nicely structured and they tend to incorporate the game's mechanics very nicely. The free running, the martial arts, the driving and the shooting. The later missions will incorporate these and transition between them really nicely. You'll generally look forward to replaying some of these missions. It's just such a shame the game's quite short. There's only 30 main triad missions and 5 multi-part police cases. And apart from the distractions, that's it. I mean, that's pretty much half the size of your average GTA game. So I expected a little more padding when you have to pay like full price.
I'll tell you what is nicely sized though, the game map. It's not exactly GTA 4's Liberty City, and it's not also too small. Though it may look small in the game's mini-map, you'll be surprised to find that each area is actually quite TARDIS-like. And what about the soundtrack? Well, what can I say, it's your usual mix of contemporary shite music, but you can't blame United Front for having to pander to modern tastes. I mostly just stuck to Sagittarius FM and listened to classic rock tunes. So, are there many distractions to make up for this lack of major content? Well, yes. There's your typical mix of street races, gambling, open world events and additional objectives, hidden lockboxes containing cash, weapons and additional clothing so you can dress way like a pillock. You can also purchase clothes, cars and the additional furniture for your apartment as well. But what I found refreshing and something that really distracted me for a while was the karaoke minigame, which looks not unlike Rock Band's vocal setup. This involves you using your analog stick to keep a very nervous way on pitch as he belts out karaoke classics such as Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, I Ran So Far Away and Take On Me. Go on, Sam.
I very much approve of this kind of minigame. So, is Wei Shan a well-rounded and endearing character? Well, at first I didn't really think so. I found him too angry and too aggressive, and the way he sweet talks to ladies, creepy.
I guess we'll see what it takes to get it out of you. Eventually.
Yeah.
I'm also bored with the typical open-world protagonist. He's generally the smartest, strongest, most unbreakable guy who comes in and sorts everyone out. However, I did find Wei Shan to be a grower, and what I mean by that is, as the storyline progressed, so too did my fondness for him. Not in a gay way or anything.
Wei, I know who you are. You're just like me. You do what must be done.
So how can I sum up Sleeping Dogs? Well, apart from the shortness of the storyline and the many bugs and glitches we unfortunately have to put up with in this genre, I actually had a blast with it. So it all comes down to whether or not you're prepared to pay full price for it, and if you're going to do more than just chug through the main storyline. I actually think that this is a game that very much stands up on its own and deserves a fair shot. So give it a go.